Okay, so what's your opinion on intergenerational trauma?
All in my experience, intergenerational trauma has been something that has been really below the surface. My grandpa, on my dad's side, he is a World War II veteran, and he never really ever talked about those experiences, hardly. My other grandpa on my mom's side, he's a residential school survivor, right? And he never really talked about it either. But there would be moments in both of their lives, and even my parents' lives, and even in my life, where they're there. They're there, but they're below the surface. They're affecting the inside of who you are and what you do. And I think about it. Where my family, my grandpas, my grandmas, the most loving family, when I imagine them in my mind, most loving family, and they support each other, taught us a lot of life values, a lot of really awesome things of how to be and how to act, how to be good people. But every now and then, it was like that trauma that they experienced, that they carry, it would show itself. And the way I imagine it, it's like a shadow. It's always there. It's not the focal point of someone's identity, but it's always there. And every now and then it'll kind of peek around and show itself. And usually when it'll show itself is at times of high stress, or when they just can't face it anymore. And in my family, I didn't understand it as a young boy, and I was about 4 years old when I first heard about residential school, or even on my other grandpa, about the war and what he had experienced. And what my grandpa had said. He looked right at me, and he was sitting down, and I was this about eye height, and he said, "When I was your age, I went to school." And in my mind, I was thinking, well, yeah, everyone goes to school, and that doesn't, what's wrong with that? He said, I didn't say that to him, but I was thinking it, and I said, well, he had said to me, well, when I was your age, I was harmed, and I'm putting it lightly, that's not exactly what he said. He said, I was harmed, I was beaten, tortured, he said, and just couldn't hold it together. He began to cry, and I never saw my grandpa like that. And he'd never cry in front of everyone, or he'd hardly ever show emotion. One thing about my grandpa, until recently in the past 10 years, he would never hug anyone. And I just thought that was normal. And one time I seen someone to go for a hug on him, and he backed up, and right away his fist clenched up, and I thought, wow, but I know my grandpa to be the most loving man, kind, gentle, and been really trying really hard to get my culture back, my language, and be able to speak Anishinaabe the way my grandparents can, the way my dad can. But I'm not there yet. But I always wonder if I would have not been afraid, and if I would have tried harder. But now I know, there's nothing I could have done. It is the way it is, and the effects of residential school, of all the traumas that are experienced, and the deviating, the fear that was placed into my family, and it continues to be there. It was always an obstacle, right? And but now I'm in a place in the past 5 years where I'm sharing it with my family, and now they're starting to open up and be less afraid of it. And it is surprising, because now I teach about Indigenous knowledge, I teach about Indigenous culture, language, Anishinaabe, about medicines, about lands, resources, and my own family doesn't even know what I know. And so now I have made a commitment to say I'm going to share that, especially with my family, because it has helped me, brought me healing, brought me understanding. So hopefully it'll do that for them too.
the most prominent thing that needs to be addressed in this present moment regarding intergenerational trauma in politics?
That's a hard one. Because it's trying to prioritize a number of different issues. So we have, I don't know, 165,000 children on reserves, which is about 3% of the children in Canada, and yet they represent 45% approximately of the individuals in the child welfare system, in CASs, et cetera. How does that exist? You have missing and murdered Indigenous women. How do you prioritize some of these things over each other? You still have intergenerational trauma that was perpetrated back during the residential schools, where we take away culture, language, identity, and then terrible atrocities to the individuals, to the children in those programs that now are raising families, and we're doing nothing for the mental health. We're not adding extra resources. It really is, you probably have to hit it in a completely holistic manner. I almost feel that we have to do all at once. One plan, one public plan, no longer behind government closed doors. Public plan, straight up, where we can evaluate as a group of citizens of Canada.